Make sure that everybody is here. Welcome, I say, to our internet phone in. Friday night, nothing gets past me. Friday, the 3rd of December, and this is show number 95. Just how amazing is that, guys? Welcome, I say. If you've joined us, then excellent stuff. Make sure you share, you tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we are on the go, I say. Hi, says Luke Sparky. Hi, Luke. Lovely to have you with us, and welcome. DINKY-DOO, Scottie. Evening, Scottie. DINKY-DOO from Norwich, says Neil. Neil, we love you in Norwich. How excellent. Hi, Scottie, says Susan. Hi, Susan, says Scottie. Isn't that fantastic? And everybody's sharing the video. Hi, DINKY-DOO, Perk. Lovely to have you with us. Hondenheim. Good evening, Scottie, says Jimmy. Good evening, Jimmy. DINKY-DOO. I'll just type a good evening to everybody. GOODEVENING. DINKY-DOO. How good is this? DINKY-DOO. There we are. So you should now have good evening, DINKY-DOO, from all of us here. Excellent. Good evening. Hello, Martin. Lovely to have you with us. Welcome. Scottie, can you please explain to me why I am late? I've just joined you. Numpty Heed, the only man that knows why you're late is you. So you'll have to have a word with yourself. How are you? I hope you're well. Scottie, I've been watching since 2018 and I haven't seen one bad episode. Is that not beautiful? And we're live on the internet phone in. Get on to the YouTube channel. You'll see the URL in the TikTok bio and come and join us. That's a lovely thing to say, Kinchin, I can say to you. There we are, sharing the live video. Thank you so much. Good evening, Lord McCLUE, says Pearl Diver. Hope you're well. Absolutely. How are you? Says Perk. We're wonderful, Perk, and it's good that you are with us. I say tremendous stuff. Now then, who have we got here? All right, Numpty Heed, says Jimmy. There's wee Mrs. Woman. Scottie, how are you? I can't wait to see you in Nicky Newland with Alex Belfield. Oh my goodness, he's in for it from me, I can tell you. Hello, Scottie. I mean, we don't know if it's going to happen or not. We shall have to find out. There we are. Hi, Suzanne. How are you, DINKY-DOO? Somebody the other night said if you have anything to do with him, you and I are finished, McCLUE. So there we are. Scottie, how are you tonight? Ewan. Kamaraha umaha hachema falchi ki demili falchi don TikTok. I guess YouTube. There we are. Trying to ring you, says Glenn. Glenn, are you? Is the phone live, says wee Mrs. Woman. Yes, ring us, me Mrs. Woman. We Mrs. Woman, me Mrs. Woman. All that stuff. Let's see who is who. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
It's Kareem, Scottie.
Oh, Kareem, excellent stuff. Well done for getting through. They were all asking, was the phone live? So obviously, yes, is the answer.
Yes, I'm through now. Yes, absolutely.
So there we are. There's G-Mac says, hope you're well, Scottie. Dinky McClue. I'm enjoying a wee half bottle. Kamaraha, ooh, Scottie, says Charlie. Kamaraha, ooh, Charlie. Hakama. Sorry, Kareem, we're doing a wee bit Latin here.
Okay. How are we, Scottie? Are we well?
We're absolutely phenomenally fantastic. Of course, the heating working does make a difference, Kareem. Let's have it straight. And the dodgy knee, I went walking this afternoon, so hopefully we'll be all right. I took a stick with me, but there's a lovely photo of my paternal grandfather and my grandmother, and my grandfather has got a stick, and I think he would be about 65 in the photo, and he only made it to 70, so I'm a bit concerned about having a stick, but if it adds a wee bit of support, then I'm up for it.
Well, if it's supporting you and it's getting you out and about walking and exercise, then that's the way forward, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think I've just got a dodgy knee. I think poor Grandpa had arterial sclerosis, a lot of it probably from his cavalry work in the First World War.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys didn't live very long. I mean, I know he smoked. I don't think he was a particularly heavy smoker, but I know that he smoked cigarettes and a pipe. He played the pipes, and I know that he enjoyed a light refreshment as well. So, you know, maybe in those days, after the First World War, 70 was quite good.
Well, I think so, Scottie. You don't smoke, do you, Scottie?
I did up till 22 years ago, Kareem.
Oh, that's out your system now, isn't it?
It should be, hopefully, but I did smoke probably for the better part of 30 years, but not terribly heavily. When I started broadcasting, I gave it up. You see, you used to be able to smoke in the workplace. So if you were a smoker and you were working in a school 30 years ago, you would have been puffing away in the staff room. Some of the older teachers used to nip into the cupboard for a fly puff between periods. And the technical teachers used to actually smoke on the job, because I remember one leaving his cigarette end on the end of the bench, and one of the boys wondering if he dare have a high fly puff. And I could see the teacher saying, "Leave that alone, boy." And he thought, oh.
So unprofessional, that is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, no, that was kind of how things were done in these days. He would rest his cigarette on the end of the bench, because in those days, departments were a law unto themselves, and the head teacher or headmaster, as it was very often, you know, there weren't many lady teachers in charge of senior schools. So very often it was the headmaster, and I think they can have had to negotiate their way around some of the more senior colleagues, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
I can remember one senior teacher laying off about the Ministry of Disorganization, and I think he was referring to the head teacher.
Oh, goodness. You don't get that nowadays.
No, nowadays the head teacher is definitely the one, and there's no question of that. And I think that that's a much better setup. And by head teacher, there are a lot of senior ladies in the profession, and they know their stuff, you know.
I do think, not to go into too much, but I think that you always hear about women and their rights and equal opportunities. But I've said for quite a long time now, when you look at education overall, majority of departments are female, a majority of promoted posts, senior and top, middle, and top, are female. And I think, well, what are we doing to recruit more males into the profession?
Well, this is what you're going to have to watch. If you do too much box ticking, then you could end up with people there for not all the right reasons. Now, I know the system says, no, they're there for the right reasons. We had a shortage of gay female people in the business. We had a shortage of gay male people in the business. We had a shortage of disabled people in the business. We had a shortage of people of color in the business. So we had to right these wrongs. But you say, yes, but have you got an abundance of the most able people in the business?
Yes. Yeah.
You see, and that's what it's all about. It shouldn't even be like we are on here. The gender shouldn't actually come into it at all. So you should be saying, well, I had a choice. It was either Mary or John that we appointed. And I appointed John because of his experience with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, although Mary was exceptionally good with blah, blah, blah. So it was quite a tough decision. And that's how I think things should be done, Kareem. But you'll not change these systems once they get going, because there are obviously tough lobbies pushing for certain things. And as I say, what we need to do as a society is bring all these people out in the open and say, listen, if you're making decisions about our lives, we want to know more about it.
I think there was a council, not my council, but one of the coast councils, I won't name the council, but there was criticism.
Thank you.
Regarding what you've just said there, that a lot of people that were getting into position of power were like friends of friends. I know you, Scottie, man, and they'll get you in here when you know nothing about, say, additional support needs. But you just come in and you run that department. You know, just things like that. And I think that's wrong. I do think that's
Kareem,
wrong.
you actually have quite a good way with you. Now, I know you haven't done any of this before, but I think you'd be very good. Would you be willing to take my guidance and join us? Do you see what I mean? And you think, yeah, but I don't know anything about. I mean, I can remember applying for an arts job, and somebody said, "Well, can you come and meet the chairman?" So I met this charming man who was a doctor, a general practitioner. And there was an evening reception where we were to meet the board. So he and I got into conversation right away. You know, we kind of made a beeline for each other. We were both working the room, and he was standing looking at, you know, a little bit sort of lost. And I went over, and in conversation, I said, "So how long have you been chairing the board, sir?" And he said, "Well, just since last year." He said, "I mean, I'm not really an artistic person, but my wife used to sing, and she said, 'Why don't you come along and chair us?' So I sort of got roped in."
Right.
And I thought, what a lovely man, but I don't think he should be chairing the board of an arts group.
Yeah.
You know, when there might have been somebody that said, "Been doing theatre since I was 13. And I used to be on the board of such and such and such and such." And then they asked me to come here. So I thought, well, why not? At least I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lovely story, Kareem, that a lady was, you know, sort of cleaning her house one morning, very senior lady. And she got a telephone call. And it was from somebody asking, was her husband, would her husband be interested in such and such a post? He wouldn't tell her at first, and then had to say, "Well, I'm from such and such. We were wondering if your husband would be interested in such and such." And she said, "Well, I'll have a word with him." So that was that. So anyway, he comes in. She says, "They want you to be the such and such." We said, "Oh, I don't know. I want to be involved in that." She said, "Oh, I think you should take it, or they'll only get somebody worse."
Yeah. There we go. And you got it. Oh dear.
You see,
Scottie, there was two things I was going to mention there. The first thing, and it's for everybody that's listening, and that's on TikTok, that are on YouTube. But last night when I went to bed, I had listened to that podcast, that interview that you did with that, I forgot the guy's name.
James Marriott.
Yes.
Yes, that only came out, was it yesterday or the day before?
That was, Scottie, it was fantastic. I just thought, wow, it was like, you know, we get snippets of what you've told us of stories, what's happened in the past, but that was just so informative. It was just such a good listen to, and such the topics that you were bringing up. It was just so fascinating, so interesting. You know,
that's really, very kind of you, Kareem. Guys, what Kareem's talking about, it only came out, I think it was yesterday or perhaps the day before. James Marriott is a very senior broadcaster and interviewer, and is based in Yorkshire, and this is called radioessentials.com. And if you get yourself onto there, you'll see the podcast with Scottie McCLUE. And if you wish to listen, I think it's 52 minutes, Kareem. That was very kind of you. And I got a telephone call tonight. I'll not say too much, but next Saturday, a week tomorrow, I'll be appearing on local radio.
Oh, fantastic.
So I got a lovely call from one of the presenters on a local radio station, and he was saying, "Do you want to come on next week and have a chat?" So I thought I was very, very flattered, because he is also a very senior guy that knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Worked in the media all his life, you know.
It was excellent. I won't go through all the stories, because that obviously don't want to ruin it for people that are going to listen to it. But I just found it was very interesting in terms of how you started off and the places you were working, and your most difficult call. And I liked about the nurses. I won't go into it. I won't want to ruin it for anybody. But it was just such a really informative, interesting interview. Really thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's very, very kind of you, Kareem. Thank you. I believe it's on the YouTube community post as well. I don't know if many people look at that. And also, I don't know the TikTokers. You should be able to pick it up as well at radioessentials.com. Here we've got some interesting stuff, Kareem, while you're on. DINKY-DOO from Londonderry in Northern Ireland with London in capitals. Some people would say the first 6 letters tend to be silent. Sometimes the damp weather doesn't help with your knees, says David. Congratulations, you've been one of many. DINKY-DOO, thank you. Hope you have a good day and have a good weekend spreading positive energy. I'm a male infant head teacher. So there we are. And hi from Chechnya. Isn't that beautiful?
I wonder what time it is over there.
Oh my goodness, I wouldn't even hazard a guess. Give a shout out to Aberdeen. Is that Donald Dewar on your wall? No, that's Scottie McCLUE. Kareem, I had a listen to last night's phone-in.
Yes.
And I have to say, I'm very humbled by the quality of the calls.
Yes, a lot of good callers.
You know,
a lot of very interesting points that a lot of people raise.
Just very, yes, including your good self. Professor Numpty, my RE teacher used to throw the chalk duster at you. They were made to last in those days with top quality wood. Scottie, Merry Christmas. Can I get a DINKY-DOO if it's okay? I'm going to ask Pablo if he can ring up and have a little speak, but it's up to him, says Italia. Same professor, our teacher chucked the chalk duster and dragged us about. I mean, in those days, Kareem, it was interesting. If you had a child cheeking back, and very rarely did it happen, but occasionally some of our mob would cheek back, I felt hopefully I was smart enough not to. So I would tend to have a wee bit of a laugh with the teachers, you know, and what have you. And I can remember an occasion when they said to me, "Can you sit down and be quiet? This is a test. I don't want any talking from you or anyone else." I said, "Sorry, sir, absolutely." Now, I mean it, not a word. I said, "Not a word, sir, I promise." Right, thank you. Anyway, what I did, I ran out of paper. So I got up and tiptoed, especially tiptoed round the class to go to the cupboard. And he came rushing over because everybody was looking up and starting to giggle. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going for more paper, sir." He said, "Well, into the cupboard and hurry up." So that was that. So it was quite funny. So we're all sitting our test. So I went into the cupboard. Now, it was history, and he was a fabulous guy, wonderful history master. I won't say who it was. He's very well known. Anyway, in the cupboard, he had exhibits, historical exhibits. And long story short, there was a Second World War gas mask loose and a First World War German helmet with a spike. And I thought, I have got to put these on. The opportunity for comedy is too great. It has overwhelmed me. So I'm in the cupboard getting a couple of sheets of A4. I popped on the gas mask and stuck the helmet on top and came out and said, no, I didn't say anything. I just came out. And of course, everybody had a wee look round and huge laughter. He came running over and clapped his hand over the air vent. He said, "How does that feel? Because the gas mask goes solid round your face." And I said, "The windows are steaming up, sir." He goes, "I will take my hand away if you'll put this back and sit down." I will. And it was a huge comedy moment. This is where I think we hew our original comedy at school. Because our school pals decide if it's funny or if it's not. And they're a very, very tough audience. And the teachers are even tougher. And I can remember I managed to impersonate a couple of the teachers. So the teachers used to ask me in break to pop in and impersonate their colleagues.
Oh, it would have been funny. Oh,
it was great fun, Kareem, when I look back on it. And it passed a lot of time and it was quite good relationships, but you knew not to cross the line. and I saw a couple of boys cross the line, and they did get the hair pull. They did get pulled out by the ear. One got a slap, I think I told you about before, just for overplaying their hand. But it was amazing how it silenced the cheek right away.
Sadly, Scottie, today too many go over the line, and there's no consequences.
Yes.
It's just, the key word is nurture, and I think there's over nurture today.
Yes.
And they don't have discipline. Again, they don't have the support of a lot of parents as well, because I will say it, a lot of parents do see education as glorified babysitting. Here's a way, take them for a few hours or take her.
Well, the parents should actually be extremely grateful to the teachers for the wonderful job the teachers do with their young people. Yeah. Because you are, as a teacher, as you know, a wee bit of Latin, in loco parentis, in the place of the parents. And it's a tough gig, and it's a tough gig for the young people. And although the summary justice is long gone, it solved a problem. You didn't get exclusions to the same extent. You know, that it solved that sort of thing. The discipline was dealt with in the school on the day. We used to get sent to pick up the belt, or we used to get sent to ask for the belt. Now, it made us slightly dishonest, because we had a lovely old boy that said, "What can I do for you boys?" We said, "Sir, we've come to get the belt for talking in class from Mr. McCLUE." "Oh, how many did Mr. McCLUE say you were to get?" We said, "Oh, I think it was just the one to teach us a lesson, sir." "Oh, well, I'd better deal with you now." You know, it was an absolute hoot, but I would imagine that they were in on the game. Robert Scrimger has said, "Scottie, just congratulating you on your superb podcast with James Marriott. It was excellent listening." James Marriott is an absolute gentleman and very, very bright and very switched on, and my kind of interviewer. So that's why I think the podcast is so acceptable.
It was so professionally done, Scottie. It really was. And as I said, everyone that's listening, I was going to listen to this, please get on and listen to the podcast. You will absolutely enjoy everything about it and more. It was really, really so informative.
Scottie, great praise to you for keeping McCLUE's pies moving through a global pandemic. Now, McCLUE's pies, Kareem, I don't know if you're familiar with McCLUE's pies.
No.
Right. When people came on the radio show, most new technical teachers are women, long overdue in education, says Bobby. We, Mrs. Women, sorry, this is the first time I've been in the live. Never be sorry, Mrs. Women. He looks like Donald Deere with the glasses. Thank you. Is he doing a radio show? Yes, Frankie, we're doing a live stream. I'm on TikTok and YouTube. Scottie, have you ever celebrated Hanukkah? No, but we wished everybody happy Hanukkah last week. Have the best day ever, says Ava. Have you been to Tyree? I haven't, sadly, Gideon, but I was invited. You're a popular guy. I'll try to phone another night. No, Mrs. Women, phone tonight. I think you're brilliant, Scottie, says Craig. We thank you, Craig. I think that, what was I going to say to Kareem? Oh, yes, McCLUE's pies. So we used to get people phoning, particularly in the Northwest, going, "I can't believe you get paid money for talking to people like that." I said, "Well, I don't." I said, "What do you mean? How do you live?" I said, "I am the chairman of McCLUE's Pies. And we do a McCLUE's pie, a meat pie, and we do a vegetarian lettuce slice and a rich chicken sauce." So people say, "Where do you get McCLUE's pies?" I would say, any reputable baker. So these wonderful people were going into the baker's shop, "Have you stocked McCLUE's pies?" Who McCLUE's what? McCLUE's pies, you know, from Scottie McCLUE on the radio at nights. "Oh, him? Well, we don't have them here at the moment." "Oh, well, apparently they're delicious." Right? So everybody was up for McCLUE's pies. And I did contact a top baker who had heard of McCLUE right away. I said, "I don't know," because I never, ever phone a business person, Kareem, and say, "You'll know who I am." Because can you imagine the humiliation if they said, "I have never heard of you in my life"? So I would say, "You probably won't have heard of me, Scottie McCLUE." And the first thing they usually say is, Is this some kind of wind up? I say, no, 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 no. I'm Scottie McCLUE, and I need to have a word with Mr. So-and-so. Well, that's me, yes. Oh, my dear fella, I enjoy your show every night. I say, right. And then I explained and said, I've heard of McClue's Pies. Are they competitors of ours? I don't think they're in our area. I said, well, can I come and see you? So he said, yes, come tomorrow. So here was this marvelous man with a beautiful bakery who was into showbiz. And we discussed every day, Chick Murray and Callum Kennedy and Andy Stewart and all these things. And he said, I'm involved in other things at the moment, so I can't invest in this, but it's an excellent idea. And another idea I had, Kareem, was McClue's Pies. So you have a little, either a van or a little shack at night. So say you're walking through the West End, you think, I fancy something to eat. I don't want a kebab. I don't want fish and chips. I think I'll have a McClue's pie and peas. And you pop your meat pie, a little bit of brown or tomato sauce, handful of peas in it, and away you go for, I don't know, £1 or something. You know what I mean? I think it would have been absolutely huge. And who knows what the future might bring. The only thing is, now that we're out the EU, you know, there'll be different regulations, etc.
You would need a vegan pie.
You would need a vegan pie, most definitely. Oh, absolutely. No eggs in it or anything like that. Beachy says, good evening, Kareem. Don't thank me, thank Google, says Jimmy. Scottie, I'm trying you on YouTube tonight instead of TikTok, says Kalelio.
Well, Scottie, what I'm going to do, I was going to mention, but I'm going to push off and get a cup of tea and have you on the background.
My dear man.
But I was going to mention, I'll bring this up tomorrow, but it was about capital punishment. We spoke about this in the past.
Yes.
And you probably, obviously I won't go into detail about a case, but you'll know that there's a couple that have been arrested for the death of their toddler. And to me, what I was going to speak about was that I think their sentence, although...
Well, no, Kareem, we can't discuss any case, even although it's only alluded to. We can't actually discuss that any further, so it would only be a general discussion, if you see what I mean. So we have to leave that one there. Now, I know you'll think me harsh, but, you know, I do know the rules. So, and you're very, very good with it. But you couldn't possibly, you know, every detail because they're quite complex. But in general, we will discuss this, in fact, another time.
Yes, I think it could take all night, but I think you know about the case I'm talking about.
Well, I can't, Kareem, I can't allude to any case in case people start to twig. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So we can't actually discuss that any further. And I can remember this on the radio as well. Somebody saying, can I discuss about the guy? I said, no, you can't. You know, from that point of view. So if anything's live, it can't be alluded to.
Right, okay.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
I understand perfectly well. That's fine. That's perfectly okay.
Wonderful stuff. But we can have a general discussion anytime at all. And I love your points. And again, thank you so much for listening to the Radio Essentials latest podcast with Scottie McClue.
No, thank you, Scottie. Listen, thank you. Have a great night, okay?
And you, my dear man, enjoy the rest of the show. DINKY-DOO. What a fine fellow. Kareem is spot on. And he didn't say or do anything wrong at all there, by the way, just so that you know. You're live on Scottie's Phone In. Who's that? Hello, you're live on Scottie's Phone In. Who's that?
Hi, Scottie. How you doing?
Hey, Glenn, DINKY-DOO, la. Busy night tonight, Glenn. Huge number of people watching tonight.
We both tried to get on, haven't we? At the beginning, Scottie.
Yes, everybody was trying to get on. I thought we're going to blow this computer up.
Definitely.
But listen, Glenn, what a difference. People are starting to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
It's getting better, isn't it?
They're starting to subscribe. The world is waking up to the fact that the internet has a phone in.
People are being more intelligent.
Intelligent. I mean, that call from Kareem there, you just couldn't fault the man.
Brilliant stuff, yeah.
You know?
I think, Scottie, my night's set up now. I'll watch a bit of TV after it. Next thing after you've gone off, I'll listen to a podcast at 10 o'clock anyway.
I'd love you to listen to that, Glenn. In fact,
Definitely,
I'd really, really appreciate it, because I want to know what people think. And you know, my back is broad. I can take a bit of criticism. But I was chuffed to bits that James Marriott considered me, you know, because he is very senior in the business.
Nice one. And what you said to Kareem previously about not mentioning certain things, very professionally, Scottie, anyway.
Well, yes, and Kareem's very professional as well, and he twigged it right away, because a lot of people go, how not? You know, and you think, well, you just can't.
So when things have come out in press, it has to stay within media.
Well, once it's come out in the press, whatever it is, just as a general rule of thumb, that's one thing. Everybody then knows about it. Then you'll notice the press go silent until after the legal proceedings are finished.
Is that when you can discuss it then?
Well, once it's finished and sentence has been passed, there's conviction and sentence, then, you know, then it can be discussed. And you'll have watched on your local telly station, they'll say, tonight, join us tonight for the evening show where we can explain a bit more about this case.
I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, isn't there?
Yeah, and you'll see the top journalists. It's always top journalists outside the High Court explaining, and they'll say, the judge said such and such, so-and-so said such and such, the trial continues. So there's nothing is said in any kind of that could be taken as one way or the other.
So until everything's set in stone, so to speak.
Once everything's set in stone, then you can do it. If, for instance, somebody did discuss it, they could very well cause a serious problem.
Is it worth it?
No, never is.
No chance.
Never is at all. So that's why the broadcast organizations, they just say absolutely not.
It's been safeguarded in it.
Yeah. And somebody can say something totally by accident.
Yeah.
They can say, remember the guy that did such and such. You think, there's no proof he did anything.
Come on, Scottie, you're too professional for that.
You know, it's...
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. Do you remember the guy that did such and such? There's no proof that guy did anything.
No, exactly. There's so much slander out there, isn't there?
Yeah, this is it. I love Robert Scrimger. Are you any good on creatures, Glenn? Are you a naturalist man?
I can't say I am, Scottie, to be fair.
Well, he's asking what's the difference between a weasel and a stoat.
Any idea, Scottie?
Well, I think the weasel is the one that hypnotizes his prey.
Oh, yeah.
I think, or is that the stoat? One of them stands up and just goes side to side like a cobra.
Are otters similar to weasels, Scottie? Otters?
No, otters are much bigger. The weasel and the stoat. The stoat's bigger, as far as I remember. The weasel's tiny. And if you get to see a weasel, you might just be driving in a country road and just see this tiny little thing scoot across the road, brownish red in colour. And that's probably the weasel.
Yeah, badgers are nice animals as well.
The badgers I've seen, they're very, very shy, but I've seen one make his way up a friend's country driveway. I thought, what is that disappearing? And it was a bottom. And it was a striped bottom. And it was a badger.
Yeah.
So I've saw, but they'll get out the road very quickly. They can be quite aggressive. Apparently, you shouldn't try and approach them.
I saw one, sadly, no longer with Scottie, to be honest, ages back.
You saw a badger?
Yeah, a badger got killed, I think, yeah.
Dead on the road. You see, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders officers wear a badger's head sporran.
All right, yeah.
And sometimes these things nowadays, I mean, I wear a badger's head sporran, but from 1922.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, and he's getting a bit threadbare, he's a bit bald, but he amuses people at weddings. But you'll get people nowadays going, what's that? You shouldn't be wearing that. But do you know that a lot of these badgers' heads come from roadkill?
All
And I
right.
read an article once that said if you come across a freshly killed badger
Yeah.
and your family are not with you or not squeamish and your wife isn't squeamish and you happen to have a black poly bag in the boot of your car, rescue him and get him to the taxidermist. Get him
All
home,
right.
stick him in your freezer, then get him to the taxidermist. Now, don't try this at home, folks. And then
Imagine
they can use that.
what happens when animals come to a demise. Then whose responsibilities is it to, like, get rid of them in middle of the road kind of thing? Is it?
Well, the council tend to do that. I mean, I have phoned the council in the past to say there's a fox on the main road, because if somebody runs directly over an animal, it makes a terrible mess.
You see a lot of poor animals, defenseless animals sometimes, don't
Yeah,
you?
foxes in particular, deer. If a deer hits your car, it can be deer, I can tell you. My grandfather had a Morris 8, which he bought in 1932 for £100, including a kit of tools. He sold it in 1952 for 150. Anyway, because there was a shortage of cars after the Second World War, and it was in beautiful condition. But a deer hit him and did almost £100 worth of damage.
Crikey.
Nowadays, the insurance company would just have written the car off.
You know when it comes to, I'm not saying that type of subject. When it comes to us being meat eaters.
Yes.
I'd never be a person that'd go out there and hunt for my meat kind of thing. Kill animals or anything.
Well, you don't have to. You could pop to the supermarket and buy a chicken.
Definitely. I could never go into a slaughterhouse. I could never be in a slaughterhouse and
no, it's not your thing. No,
it's not in my Scottie, to be honest.
Absolutely, and why should it be, Glenn? It's a specialist. It's a specialist trade.
It's a big responsibility for those that do it, isn't it?
And you can't eat fox anyway, and I don't think you can eat badger.
Yeah.
I've certainly never had badger, but my father was a great shot. I'm a crack shot, but I don't shoot.
Yeah.
But my father was a great shot, and he used to give us things like rabbit and hare.
We're all in the food chain anyway, Scottie, aren't we?
Well, we're all in the food chain, sadly, and I mean, that's why they breed them, and they're now talking about growing food and what have you, and giving us this, that, and the next thing. There's Coelho, you see. I saw a dying baby deer in the middle of a council estate once. How it got there, I don't know.
I mean, Chinese eat cat, Chinese cook cats, apparently, don't
they? They can do, yes, cat and dog out in the east, in Asia, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I can understand these things. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't have a dog myself.
Definitely not. Can you imagine that on the menu, Scottie? No, thank you.
No, thank you. No, absolutely. But then again, we have cows, we have sheep, we have pigs,
Yeah.
All on the menu. Glenn, I'm going to have to dash. Everybody's going berserk here.
Have you ever done vegan then?
I haven't done vegan. I've done vegetarian.
Yeah.
Tried it. It makes you a little bit windy, to be honest.
It does.
Yeah, so you're not necessarily welcome everywhere your friends go. Oh, for goodness sake!
I always have to have a bit of. I've always got to have some meat substitute in my meal, to be honest, Scott.
A little bit of something. What about corn?
Is it called corn meat?
Corn. That's quite a nice thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like a substitute then for meat?
It is. It's a meat substitute. Yes, it's a protein.
Like corn mincemeat, isn't it?
Yeah, you can have corn mincemeat. You can have all sorts of forms. You can have it in sandwich.
It's a bit light, so there's not as much gristle in it, Scottie, I don't think.
There's no gristle at all. There's another one called tofu, Tofu.
That's a meat substitute as well, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Glenn, I must dash. We'll get shut down. Ta-ra. Love you lots. Top man. You're live at Scottie's Funny, and who's that?
Hello, it's Pablo. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, and can I get a dinky-doo?
A big dinky-doo to you, and a Merry Christmas. Lovely to hear you. Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Is Pablo there? Is he coming on?
No, I didn't. He's listening to me me downstairs. I just wanted to say if I can get a dinky-doo.
Yeah, of course you can get a massive dinky-doo, and dinky-doo to you and to Pablo.
Thank you.
Thank you, la. Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Ta-da, la. Well, there's no meat in turkey twizzlers. Well, there's turkey in it. Is it correct you can take a deer home for consumption if you find it as roadkill, but if you accidentally hit it, you can't? I'm not sure of the law on that, Coolelio. Interesting. Somebody will maybe come and tell us. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Hello, Scottie, my name's Martin. How are you?
Martin Lala, how are you tonight?
Very, very well.
Martin, 2 seconds. We just need to have a wee catch up on the TikTok. I have a fox visit my garden every night. I think he has a den close by. I've never seen a badger, says Angela. Rabbit stew's lovely, says Craig. My granddad used to go ferreting. The weasels hunt in packs, says user 347 live on our beautiful TikTok. What about that, Martin?
Yes.
There we are. Never a dull moment on here.
Guess what, Scottie?
Go on.
I'm not having Christmas now until June because we decided to have it slightly later next year, Christmas time.
Christmas time slightly later. Is it not the 25th?
No, me and Emma's going to have Christmas on the 25th of June next year.
Oh, the 25th of June. Wow.
Staying up for the rest of the year. I'm very, very, very sorry. Staying up for the rest of the year.
No, you're a very interested couple. We want to know how that goes.
I know. We had to give up because Emma wants lots of gifts under the tree. Wait out there, Emma, say it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, she does, right? No problem.
So we want. Have you seen the film Home Alone 2? At the very end, and all the gifts are on the floor in the hotel. Lovely.
Fantastic. Home Alone, absolutely, and Dinky-Doo.
And what do you? How many?
Coolelio wants to know why the 25th of June.
It's because we want to have an extended Christmas because Emma wants a lot of gifts in the floor and. Plus, we're going to stock up on Christmas food as well.
So you want to have what kind of Christmas?
Special Christmas next year.
Yeah, but what was the word? You used a word, I missed it. Right, I thought I heard the word and I didn't quite recognize it.
I forgot. Maybe it might come back to me again. It might.
Right, excellent stuff. Have you tried the new air fryers yet, Scottie, for cooking? Says Shane.
So, are you going to have turkey or?
No, I don't eat turkey.
Do you like chicken?
I like chicken, yes, and I like roast beef and I like ham.
What about haggis?
I like haggis, but that's not the time of year. That's for buns.
That's next February.
No, January. January the 25th is buns night. And if you go on YouTube and you put in Scottie McCLUE, Robert Burns, up will come all sorts of things.
My own tree will be up. My tree will be up all year. So tell that comment to the Professor Number Seed on YouTube. Yes, Professor Number Seed. My tree will be up all year.
All year. Excellent, Martin. I'm going to dash and lovely to hear you.
DINKY-DOO. Love you. Love you.
Love you, Dinky-Doo, la. Will Martin's tree be up all year? Yes, he's just said it will be. X was in June. One flew over the cuckoo's nest, says Archie. Right, Archie, fair enough. Scottie the weasel has a black tail, says George. Who's this? You're live at Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Hi, Scottie, it's me again, Glenn.
Oh, Glenn, for goodness sake, you're just off the phone, man.
Yeah, Scottie, what's next Easter in August?
Next Easter in August.
Okay, Scottie, no disrespect to Martin, Magic, I just want to keep it as it is, won't you?
I think we'll keep it just as it is. You see, I can remember a friend of mine laughing in my face. I've had this all my life. When you come out with clever stuff, if somebody doesn't understand it, they'll call you the idiot, right?
Definitely.
Because they don't want to say, I'm sorry, Scottie, I don't understand what you mean. Could you explain it to me? Like you and I would say, you see?
I think having Christmas trees brings up in summer.
Yes, yes. Well, I'd said to him that I thought New Year should be at Easter because that's when the new life starts. Esther, meaning the egg, new life.
Yeah.
Even going back pre-Christian to the pagan festivals.
So we'll not expect people to send them Christmas cards in summer.
Well, he probably will, but everybody was laughing at that. And then I explained that New Year actually was at Easter in the old days.
I'm not wearing a mask also.
Yeah, is Glenn wearing a gas mask on the phone? So they obviously, you're sounding a bit muffled, la.
Oh, I'm a Scottie. Can you hear me? Is that better?
Little bit better, not terribly well. Beachy says, don't tell the Waynes.
Can you hear me better now, Scottie?
Can't hear a word you're saying now, Glenn. We've lost you completely, la. There we are. There we go. So that's that. I don't know what was wrong with Glenn tonight. To the telephones as quickly as possible. You're live with Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Is that better, Scottie?
That's a bit better, yes. Well done.
It's because I had my phone on charge.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's probably what was doing it.
Yeah. It's amazing how many times you have to charge your phone up a day, Scottie, innit?
Well, yes, I've got a new phone that's got an excellent battery, though. Sometimes I'm on the blooming thing a fair bit, and I take a look at it, especially at weekends. Obviously, you're working, you're not on your phone. But, you know, weekends, I have a look, and it goes 98% battery. I think I've been on this half the morning.
It's like you were saying the other day, Scottie, about as soon as you walk into a room, straight onto mobile phones, you know, with public.
Yeah.
Everybody's just literally glued to the mobile phones.
They're glued to the phones. Yes, absolutely.
What do you think it'll be next? Do you reckon there'll be some sort of...
Well, I think the next thing might be an implant in your head. So you just think about your granny or your Auntie Fanny, and the implant dials them.
Like an hologram kind of thing.
Yeah. So a hologram in your head, you know what I mean? And we might get a virtual McCLUE, so I can sit and watch the telly while you lot are talking to me upstairs.
And we can play games and stuff like
that. Oh, we could do the blooming lot, Glenn. Never a dull moment.
We can have wizard in interaction kind of thing.
Galileo thinks you've found the gas mask from my school.
Brilliant. Scottie, like I said, I think whenever something progresses in technology, you'll keep up with it, won't you?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. That's what McClue's always done, way ahead of his time. Glenn, I had a huge conversation in 1998 about could I do a phone-in over the internet?
Right.
And my friend, who was very switched on, said, no, you can't actually, because there isn't a provision for voice over the internet. And then it came in as VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol.
So this has been predicted years ago.
Oh, yes. I mean, the internet is really it was originally a wired system of putting everybody's computer together.
How powerful it's got since.
Oh, my goodness, yes. I'm getting from Angela, we'll all be chipped.
I once saw somebody I think I told you ages back, they were walking around, you know, when COVID first came into force.
Yeah.
They wore a gas mask outside.
Very interesting. I can remember the first time when it had just come in and a guy passed me miles away, I mean about 20 yards away, wearing a mask outside.
Nice.
And I thought that's a bit sudden. And then, of course, people do now.
The way people breathe, though, in these facial masks, like, it really constricts, it really makes you struggle to breathe.
Well, yes, I don't think it's helping, but if it prevents us from getting anything, then I'm up for it, you know what I mean?
I mean, you can lower it a little bit to release the airways kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. What about this one, Glenn? My phone's battery is so bad, I have to take it to the police to get it charged.
Brilliant.
Chris says, evening, Scottie. How's it going? Loving the show again tonight. Every day I love catching up with your show. Whilst at what? What, La?
Is it a visit what you're making next week then for this?
No, we'll do it on the phone.
Are you doing it on
phone? Do it on the phone, probably about 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning on the 11th of December.
You'll be live streaming it on YouTube and TikTok there.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do a bit of that. We'll see if we can get everybody onto it.
And is this going to push on from onto something else then, Scottie?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just lovely that we've got a podcast of that sort of standing in the industry, and then now we're being invited on a radio station.
He's from our neck of woods, James.
James is very much, I think he's a Barnsley man, actually.
Yeah, he's from our neck of woods anyway.
Is Barnsley or Sheffield? I don't want to cause
I think if I read some of his comments, I think he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan as well, to be honest.
Well, there you go. I won't go into that. That's it between.
Scottie, but before I let you go, football teams bringing season tickets out for next season, Scottie.
What about it?
You know, selling season tickets in December for next season. It's a money maker, Scottie, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't follow football, as you know, so I'm the wrong person to ask, but I certainly wouldn't be paying out a whole load.
Certain football clubs closer to our neck of woods anyway brought the season tickets out for next season.
Right. And do you actually need a season ticket? Can you not just go along to the game?
You could do, but I think it'd be more expensive if you paid, match days, Scottie.
Right. Well, I remember ringing a club. I said, when's kickoff? They said, how soon can you get down?
Scottie, I'm tending to agree with you now with the whole football thing.
Yeah, get it just on a Saturday afternoon.
The rich abs and are just...
Absolutely. Somebody's doing very well out of the...
They're destroying it all, Scottie.
Yeah, love you. I'm going to have to dash, and we'll be done in again.
Scottie.
Love you.
I'll listen to your podcast anyway later.
Hey, enjoy it, Glenn. I'd love to hear your feedback. Dinky-Doo la.
Nice one. Dinky-Doo, Scottie.
Bless you. Love you lots. Jimmy says, Auntie Fanny, absolutely, your granny and your Auntie Fanny. Good evening, sir. Neil O'Gonnelly, lovely to have you with us. Neil is down in the south coast near Bournemouth. I say we have a Christmas night in on Zoom, Scottie. Beachy, we might well do that. We might make the Scottie McCLUE show one of the Christmas highlights now that we don't have the two Ronnies. I think Glenn needs a chick, says Tomok. I think he's got one, Tomok. See you, Glenn. Dinky-Doo. Hello from Ireland, says Kevy. We love you in Ireland, Kevy, and Dinky-Doo to thee, I say to you. The TT froze. Oh, well, it's back now. Guys, can everybody watching please follow me on TikTok and subscribe on YouTube? Now, a lot of you will say, I'm not bothering with that. Don't do that. Please actually do it, because then it allows us to build a proper phone in for you. You see where I'm coming from? I mean, I don't get anything out of it. I don't get paid for doing this. I just want to make sure that people get cheered up at nights. That's all I'm interested in. So there you go. So if you subscribe in the YouTube, I don't think it's too much to ask. We did a video the other night that says, here's how you do it. You go onto YouTube and you go Scottie McCLUE, the internet phone in. Then you click subscribe on the red square button. Difficult? Problem? Okay. So please do that. Very important. Glenn says, I need a chick. I have one, Scottie, and a baby chick on the way. Absolutely, Glenn. Good for you. Scottie, can I have your bank account number and sort code? I want to rest some funds in there. Oh, numpty hood, you're very kind, but we'd better not. Scottie, I subscribed. Italia, thank you so much. And thank you for coming on tonight. Tell Pablo, we love him. Watched The Iron Lady last night. Good movie on Maggie T. Alan, I wouldn't mind saying that. Guys, I've got Alan Bell on. And Alan is in Australia. He's down under, so I'm going to put on my jackaroo for Alan. Hey! Fair dinkum, Alan, lad. I've got my jackaroo on for you. Scottie, I'll phone in 2 minutes. Wee Mrs. Woman, that's brilliant. You'll need to be quick, though, I say. I've subscribed once. Thank you very much, Sundar. Who's this? You're live at Scottie's phone in. Who's that? Hello?
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Who's that?
Hello, mate.
Who's that?
This is Scottie. This is Scottie. Not Scottie McClue. Scottie McCLUE.
Scottie McCLUE.
Yeah.
Thank you for phoning, Scottie McCLUE. We appreciate it. Brothers across the sea. Lovely, lovely. Dinky-Doo, guys. What have you run over a sheep? Do you have to report it? I'm not sure, Angela. We'll have to get... Scottie, are you doing a Christmas radio show on Christmas Eve? No, but we might come on the internet on Christmas Eve. You're live at Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Hi, Scottie.
Hello, who's that?
It's Ewan.
Ewan. Lovely to hear you. I need to know who it is, Ewan. Otherwise, I can't call you by your name. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So when you come on, always say, Scottie, it's Ewan.
Okay.
Lovely to hear you. Kamaraha maha.
Scottie, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What's your opinion on women drivers?
Women drivers. Well, I used to feel that we'd be better curfewing them at rush hour. You know what I mean? So when the roads are very busy, it'd be better just to leave it to the guys, because women and men have got a different style of driving.
Yeah.
You know, and that sort of thing. But I mean, I'm sort of changing a little bit nowadays as we get more and more women on the road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But certainly at rush hour, I would prefer just dealing with male drivers, because I've had a few close shaves with women drivers. And one day I was following a car and it was going over a double yellow-white line. And when I passed it, here was an elderly lady drinking tea out of a mug. And I thought, my goodness me, we don't want that.
Yeah, no, dangerous.
Very dangerous. You're lovely to hear you. Aichiva maha. Aichivalech, I say. To the telephones, guys. We're very, very tight for time. We'll have to say goodnight to our beautiful, beautiful TikTokers. Love you, TikTokers. Thank you for joining us. There we go. Lovely, lovely stuff. Who have we got here? You're live at Scottish Phone In. Who's that? Oh, they obviously didn't make it to air. Tremendous stuff. Never mind. Don't worry about any of that, I say. Right, Scottie, was that the guy from Australia? It was, Glenn. Yes. Oh, no, Ewan. No, Ewan's from Barra, up in the Outer Hebrides. That guy's Australian accent was worse than mine. Bronchi, he wasn't Australian. There we are. Dinky-Doo. That was me, says wee Mrs. Women. Right, well, phone us back, wee Mrs. Women, and let's have a wee chat. I thought you'd left. No, we hadn't left. We had to leave the TikTok, because if you're over an hour on the TikTok, that's it, you see. There we are. You can't download and extract the calls. So here we are. Who's this? Hello, you're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
DINKY-DOO, Scottie McCLUE. It's wee Mrs. Woman.
Wee Mrs. Woman. What a joy and a privilege to hear you.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm excellent. I'm loving the fact that this beautiful show is just growing and growing and growing.
It is. It's got so big recently. You've really taken off, especially on the TikTok.
Oh, it's wow on the TikTok. I tell you, thousands.
It's hard to get a hold of you. I've been trying to phone you all night. All these gentlemen have been hogging you.
Just absolutely mobbed, but we're good to. We might go back to just one call a night. There we are. Bronchi says it makes up for no show on a Sunday. Vote 1 for 2 hours and 2 for 1 hour show Friday. We, Mrs. Woman, we're losing you. What's that, my darling?
Yeah, that you're abusing me while I'm cooking in the kitchen.
Oh, you're at the cooking. Well, you'll be able to hear the chit chat. Do you like my Australian jackaroo hat?
I do.
Oh, we're losing you, Mrs. Woman. It's a very, very poor line. What a shame. We're losing you. Lovely to talk to you. And Dinky-Doo. Dinky-Doo, wee Mrs. Woman. Her line broke up there, guys. What a shame. 2 hours tonight, Scottie. Excellent, Bronchi. So there we go. Scottie, the one before, says Glenn. Oh, right. The Australian guy. No, he didn't actually come on. Scottie, people are very cautious talking to you for some reason. Well, I think they're just getting used to it, Glenn. Remember, you've been phoning Scottie McClue for a long time now, so you know your stuff. Guys, we're right out of time. This is Scottie McClue on Friday night saying to every single one of you, Thank you so much for joining us. Share and share and share. Spread the word. Enjoy the podcast at radioessentials.com. Get onto that. Until tomorrow night at 9 o'clock sharp, Dinky